Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning, welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Shauna Potts-Robinson this morning, who is the director at Simply Groups. So good morning, thank you ever so much for taking the time to join us, especially when it's so lovely outside as well.
It's a beautiful day and you're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So can I just start by asking, can you introduce yourself to us properly? Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
Absolutely. So Simply Groups, we're a tour operator, a specialist tour operator catering for private groups and associations, both from within the UK and for incoming business coming from America, China, worldwide in actual fact. We've been in business for 20 years. This last month was our 20-year anniversary, which was a big whoop whoop as far as we were concerned. And we're very established within the industry, within our niche industry that we deal with. As a business, we've never promoted ourselves through advertising. We've never had to do that. Our business has always come through referrals and word of mouth, which has been absolutely key over the last 15 months as well, in ensuring our survival over through this pandemic period. Obviously, travel has been very, very badly hit. I would like to say possibly one of the worst sectors, which still hasn't started up again. But there's a lot of positivity out there. And as a business, we can't wait to start doing what we love best and working with our clients, many of whom are personal friends that we've grown to know over the years. We're only a small company, so there's only 6 of us who work in the office. And we under normal circumstances, we would operate anywhere between 150 and 200 tours a year.
Wow.
Each consisting of anywhere between 25 and 50 people per tour. And each individual holiday is completely tailor-made. So it's a very challenging business at the best of times, but it's also very enjoyable.
Brilliant. So if you were to go back to last March, you had all of these tours arranged and everything working as normal. What happened for you guys? How did things start to affect you guys? How quickly?
Yes. Where do I start? So I was actually, just to backtrack slightly before that, I was actually in France with the group when the French lockdown. So we all had to scurry back to the UK, and we had about 3 weeks interim period when the French had already locked down, and we could see this happening before it was even announced in the UK. Not that helped massively, but we had started to preempt what potentially might happen. Obviously, not knowing how long it would be in place for. So the key thing that happened in March was that we immediately lost all our core business for the whole of the spring, summer and autumn, because of the way that our clientele books. They book 6 months, 9 months, 12 months in advance.
Yeah.
And because the demographic is predominantly 65 plus in age, they were the first people to lock down, and many of them had to go into shielding for various reasons as well. So it was a very challenging first month or so. The office obviously had to close immediately, and the first plan of action was that all the tours for the next 8 weeks, we only worked 8 weeks at a time, which looking back wasn't long enough, but there was so much to rearrange for over an 8-week period that we had to reschedule, cancel, refund tours, anything that might have been in place to take place over that 8-week period. So basically until the end of May. So that was extremely challenging. Obviously all staff were immediately furloughed, with the exception of myself. And so I took on the role of everybody within the company in that first instance, which took me back to when I started the business and brought back lots of memories, good and bad, and meant very, very long days and lots of challenging conversations, and whilst trying to remain positive at the same time, because you don't want to pass a negative attitude across to your clients. You've got to believe that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel sooner rather than later. But hindsight is a great thing, isn't it?
Oh,
to look back and say these things.
Absolutely.
So,
oh, sorry. I was going to say, did you become the sole point of contact for anybody
100%, 100%. And that in itself was it. There were days when it was really quite depressing, because all you could see was tours cancelling, which in effect, as I'm sure you're aware, within the travel industry, that means refunds. But on a positive side, there were an awful lot of clients who agreed to transfer their holidays either to later last year, or to this year, spring, or to this year, autumn. So there was so much rearranging to take place, which in our situation means changing transportation bookings, changing accommodation bookings, changing excursion bookings, rearranging insurance, travel insurance, and each tour can take anything up to a week on its own to reschedule all of that for one person to actually do. So a lot of work had to be done. It was very challenging, very tiring. A few more grey hairs along the way, a few more lines under the eyes, from sleepless nights. But yeah, clients were, because we know our clients so well, they're not just a name on a book. We have met every single client we have met, or I have met personally. You can talk to them on a more normal level as well, which obviously helped when explaining the situation to them as much as we knew at the time, because that was ever changing as well.
Absolutely. There's a tour operator, a company that I've used the last few years they do like little adventure long weekends, or adventure holidays, and I had one booked when during lockdown. And when they were cancelling, and it was so hard to get hold of anybody. Everybody was obviously calling to cancel and have refunds. I just thought I didn't have it in me to say, right, I'll send me all my money back. I left it on credit with them and said, I'm definitely going to come back. I definitely want to rebook.
With us it was slightly different, because we're dealing with a group of people.
Yeah.
So whilst there is one point of contact, there are possibly 30, 40, 50 other people within that group doing that holiday. So whilst you as an individual were happy to do that, within a group, you may have 50% of the group who are, and 50% of the group who immediately want a refund, and everybody was hearing everything on the news that I'm entitled to it within 2 weeks. And whilst we haven't fallen out with anybody on that score, which I'm really pleased to say, that created a lot of headaches in itself, because the way that our bonding is in place is that we have to request our money from the trust account, which in the pandemic was very difficult because there was nobody to contact. And so, yes, it wasn't just the operation of the tours that was an issue. It was the administration the background administration that people don't see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So yes, that my role covered everything for at least 9 months. So my staff were completely furloughed for 9 months, and in actual fact, only this week have I got everybody back, although only on certain days, not every day of the week.
So you guys, you furloughed the team, and you became all things to all people. How have the team coped over the last year?
From my perspective, they've been fantastic. They've been absolutely superb. They've been more concerned about me, in actual fact, and they've been making more phone calls to me, which just asking how I am, how I'm coping, which was really nice of them. For me, they've also been a support, as well as, although I haven't been able to physically have them working, they have still had to do ongoing training that we have to do by law within the travel industry, So I have been in contact with them to make sure all their training was up to date, etc. And we did speak. We set up a WhatsApp page for everybody in the business, and there would jokes go up there, and we would have remote gin and tonic sessions. So we tried to keep that camaraderie going, because none of us live in the same town, and we weren't supposed to be meeting then anyway. So it wasn't as tough for us as a team, because we're a close-knit team anyway. We're not a big organization, so we do know each other personally. We know each other's grandchildren, and we know each other's sort of families set up. So we would be in contact on a more personal level individually. So it wasn't quite as tough for us, I have to say. So that was a blessing. That was a really good thing for us all to be there together.
Absolutely. And what about for you as the leader of the business? How did you have to, I mean, you had to adapt in a lot of ways by becoming umpteen different people, umpteen different jobs, but as a leader, in terms of keeping that morale up and keeping that positivity, how did you have to adapt?
Are you saying I'm not a positive person?
No, you can tell that you are. You can definitely tell that you are.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily, I don't see it as adaptation. It's just what comes naturally, what comes normally with, and I was equally concerned for everybody from a financial perspective as well, how they were going to be coping. And as a company, we've done everything we possibly can within the limits imposed on us to make sure that everybody has been able to continue to earn a living wage, and in most cases earn the wage that they were on before, regardless of the furlough amounts and irrespective of the fact that they weren't working. So I've been very conscious of that, because over the years many of my team have been here 7, 10, 12, 15 years. They've done an awful lot for me over the years, and whilst it was extremely tough financially from a business perspective, that was also a major concern of mine, that the team weren't too adversely affected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
So yes, that was very important for me. There were some tough decisions that had to be made, but we didn't have to lay anybody off. We haven't had to make anybody redundant. We've kept everybody on board, because the business will come back, and that team that I have, they're integral to the success of the business.
How are they feeling now that they're getting back into work, and you guys are the cogs are starting to turn again?
So I had one whose first day back was on Monday, and she burst into tears, because we've spoken, we text and we've spoken on on different mediums, but she burst into tears and gave me a big cuddle, which was that was really nice. But I think getting the team back together in the same environment is so essential to building the business back up to where it has to get to. I mean, we're in a position where from September onwards, we are exceptionally busy with the business that couldn't operate last year. Yeah. And so people have had to go from 12, 15 months of enjoying life at home, that life that I don't know about, but that they keep telling me about. They've had to adapt from that to getting back into full work mode, with mass departures, all things being equal, scheduled for September.
So with the niche that you guys work in, what kind of challenges do you foresee as the world starts to spin again? What kind of challenges do you foresee?
So challenges, we will see more people staying in the UK, more tours staying in the UK. The continental tours, we don't do further afield, but we do continental tours, European tours, sorry. They will be more challenging. I mean, we have the first of those scheduled for September. Our UK tours actually start next week. So we've got our first group tours going out next week, which will be absolutely fantastic. But even the tours in September, we still don't know if they will go ahead. We've got all the traffic light issues with the amber, reds and greens, and other countries have actually imposed dark red, which the UK has become dark red in some countries. So it's not just how it's perceived in the UK, it's how it's perceived by the countries you're traveling to.
Yeah.
So there are still a lot of challenges ahead because nothing is definite. Even if things progress as we expect them to here, that doesn't mean to say that each individual country is going to be of that same mindset. So there are still challenges ahead, but you know, we will overcome those. We've done it before. There are ways and means to get around that, and people are so keen now to get something in place. The vast majority, anyway, are so keen to have something to look forward to. Some have actually changed their destination so that they were traveling abroad. Now they're staying in the UK, but at least they have a holiday to look forward to later this year.
Brilliant. And so of the adaptations that you've made over the last year, you know, that you've had to make, is there anything that you guys have changed that you will actually continue to run with moving forward?
So the one main thing would be, so our tours have always been for private groups. It's not a brochure product that you're buying into. We don't sell to individuals. Mm-hmm. It's a private group that we tailor make a tour and put it together specifically for a group. What we started to see, so this was maybe around January, February time, was that you had people who categorically would not consider traveling, people who wanted to start thinking about travel, and people who just wanted their name on every holiday list going. So you have the full spectrum of people. So what I introduced was tours that not only groups could book, but individuals could also book on as well. And those we've got maybe 12 of those on the go at the moment for all sorts of destinations, predominantly UK, where they have fixed itineraries and fixed departure dates. Where it's a coach tour, for example, we will offer pickups in set locations, and they've proved exceptionally popular. That's something we'll probably continue for the next 12 months, 24 months, until people are 100% sure about traveling again. Yeah. Then there's no reason the tours can't go ahead, providing all the legislation says that we can operate. And to be able to offer some of our regular clients who aren't actually the organisers a holiday keeps that business with us as opposed to it going somewhere else.
Brilliant. So with everything that you guys have experienced and that you've learned over the last year, with hindsight, which we've mentioned, which is a wonderful thing.
It's fantastic.
If you could go back to last March, what would you have done differently?
I think the only thing, it's difficult to say. I mean, it is all about hindsight, but even today, we still don't know how long this is going to drag on for. I think the one main thing is that I would have, instead of transferring tours, for example, from April to September, and then I've had to transfer them from September to April, I've now had to transfer them again from April to September. I would have allowed a longer period, but that's not ideal in any circumstances, because it isn't new business, you're not making new money from it. It's just delaying the process of when we can actually earn some money from it. Because the way that we work is that we're not actually given the money from the clients until the tour's been and gone. So all those tours that we had in place last year, the ones that have transferred across to another period, we haven't had money to use to keep us afloat, because that money is kept completely separate and secure from a client's perspective, which is the right thing. But in the interim period, there's still been ongoing bills and everything else to pay, and the top-ups with furlough and rents, etc. And because travel has been predominantly omitted from any sort of financial assistance, that has been very tough. But I think, going back to your question, because I sort of deviated, sorry, I went off on one. Yes, I think had I known that it was going to last as long as it had, I would have just transferred that business straight away for a 12-month period minimum. Because now I've had to do it 2 or 3 times with each tour, and each time that's work that I'm having to do. Fair enough, that's my job, but there is no financial gain because the prices, unlike a lot of companies, we've honoured the prices that your clients originally had and haven't put on any supplements for them changing dates. So that was an encouragement for them to continue for us to hold their bookings as opposed to them cancelling.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest win you can take from the last year? What's the biggest positive you can draw?
Right, here we go. We've got 2 awards here. So sorry, I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
I can.
Yeah, so in 2020, we were nominated the best group tour operator in the UK through the Group Leisure and Travel industry. And on a personal level, sorry, they're very heavy. I also won the Excellence Award for my services to the group travel industry within the UK.
Wow.
Now, these awards, they run every year, and it's the nominations of the clients that determine who wins. So it's not a trade, people from the trade voting in it, is purely clients. And of any year to have won one, if not, to win one and then the second one was just phenomenal, because that was October we won these. So that was 6 months into the pandemic. They started taking the votes in July. So that meant, and such lovely comments that clients made, when they were, because they all had to comment as they were voting. We saw some of them, not all of them, but we saw a small selection of them, and had to guess who had said what, because there were no names. People didn't give names so you can't go back and thank people specifically, although they made themselves known that they had done certain things after the event. But that was a massive boost, for me personally, for the company, for the team. Of all years, to win it last year was just, it meant we had done something right in that 6-month period. That, people didn't have any grudges against us. We'd done all the right things. We were dealing with the situation positively as best we could. And that was a massive, massive win. That was the win of the year. I was really, really chuffed.
Congratulations. An absolute testament to what you guys do, to what you do.
It was very, I don't get emotional, but when it was announced, because it was all done digitally, of course, I burst into tears, which isn't, I think it was like, I was overcome by everything, because I had put my heart and soul. My family had absolutely taken taken a back burner in the 6 months to that period. Which isn't ideal, but it had to be done. So yes, it was a very emotional win.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what does the future hold? What does what exciting things have you guys got coming up?
So in the interim period between rearranging tours, etc., I have spent a lot of time producing new products, producing new tours. So because you're not booking a holiday where you're going to a beach or somewhere. I've put together new bespoke itineraries that we have now started to launch, new destinations. I actually had my first trade show last week, would you believe? I went down from Yorkshire to Surrey, totally COVID compliant, fantastic venue, which encouraged people to attend as well. Met over 30 of our existing clients who I hadn't seen in 15 months, which was fantastic, and came away with 6 new bookings from that straight away. So, and obviously we are seeing a lot of positivity about bookings for 22 and even 23 because of the lead-in period that we have on our tours. So providing that things don't take a backward step, providing that the media don't continue with their negativity, which has done nothing but harm this industry, because a lot of it hasn't always been 100% accurate, I have to say, which I find very frustrating because then I have to argue that point. But no, moving forward, things will resume, things will return, and we will get back to doing what we do best and looking after fantastic clients who are great fun to be around. You know, they keep us on our toes. But because I've kept in communication with the vast majority over the last 15 months, so, you know, a phone call just to say hi now and again, that makes all the difference.
Brilliant. Shauna, thank you so much for chatting with us and sharing your challenges and how you've overcome them, and that, you know, the real sense of positivity that just absolutely transcends through across the Zoom screen. And huge congratulations on your awards.
Thank you so much, and it's been great speaking to you. It's nice to speak to somebody outside of the industry as well.
Absolutely.
Because you can get very insular within your own business, and there is more to this than travel. And you know, we all have to work together in some way, shape or form to get out of this, and the light is there and it's getting brighter every day, and hopefully in the not too distant future we can all get back to some sort of normality anyway.
Definitely, absolutely. I can't wait. Yeah, I need to get a holiday booked as well. Some kind of trip.
I know somebody will help you.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you
so much, Vicky. Okay then. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.